This problem asks us to name the following lines, rays, and segments. So in all of these scenarios, we're going to use 2 points on either the line, ray, or segment to name it, and then the notation is just going to change and be a little different. So before we even begin, we can look at each option and determine what the diagram is representing. So in option 1, this is a line because it goes on and extends using the 2 arrows in both directions forever. So it goes and extends on for infinity. This is a segment, or we also call it a line segment, because it has 2 endpoints, meaning that it's like a line, but it does not go on forever. It has 2 endpoints, so it actually stops in 2 different places. And then a ray is kind of in between both, where there's 1 endpoint, but it extends to infinity in the other direction. So we can even think about it like a line has no endpoints, a line segment has 2 endpoints, and a ray has 1 endpoint. We can also think about it like a line extending to infinity in both directions, a line segment not extending to infinity at all, and an ray extending to infinity only in 1 direction. So naming them ends up being really similar. So for a line, we're going to use 2 points on the line to name it. So it's going to be called AB. And on top of that, we're going to draw a line. And now this whole notation written in purple now reads line AB. For a segment, we're going to use 2 points on the segment, similar to what we did in a line. So we can say UV, and then we're going to call this segment UV, and on top of it, we're just going to draw a segment. Now, both of these could be written in another order as well. Instead of writing line AB, you could have written line BA. As long as there's an arrow on top, it doesn't matter what order the points are written. And similarly for line segment UV, we could have written line segment VU as long as there's a segment on top of it. Now for array, it's going to be very similar. The only thing we need to keep in mind is that the endpoint is Q. So for example, if I'm writing this as ray QP on top of those 2 letters, we need to make sure the endpoint is on top of Q and the arrow extends in the direction of P, just like it is in the diagram. And if I were to switch these letters and write ray PQ, the ray would have to just face toward the left to make sure that the endpoint is still over point Q.